everyone. Today I'm here with Anna Macrae, an artist that is going to share with us about her work. Anna, thanks so much. It's great to see you.
Thank you, Deborah. Yeah, it's lovely to see you too. Thanks for inviting me.
So one reason I was interested in sharing your work is your use of mixed media. And I wondered if you could maybe tell me a little bit about how your interest in that began, and sort of the evolution of your deciding to incorporate materials other than paint inside your work.
Yeah, sure. So I kind of think you're always discovering who you are as an artist. And I've realized over the years that I'm drawn to materials and marks and gestures. And I see myself returning to those elements and exploring and reimagining those. And, just seeing that as part of an integral part of my vocabulary of art making. Over the years, I found myself embedding various materials into the underpaintings of my work. And when I start a piece, I always have to mess the canvas up, as I need it to be a non-precious surface to play with. So I usually start with an underpainting and just embedding history of materials and marks and pigments. And this becomes a springboard for my process.
I am wondering if we could also maybe see this painting in real life.
Sure, yeah. So I've set a few pieces up in my studio to show you. So I'm just going to swing my screen round and we can have a look, see what I've got.
Great. Oh, yeah. Well, it's really nice to see that in person because you get a better sense of scale. I love the details in the PowerPoint because we can see the up-close mark making and tiny lines, but it's nice to see how big this is in real life.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. I think as well, really this kind of goes back to a lot of my childhood way of making. I was born and raised in England, and I was always making and playing and just building things out of nothing. And I think this really informed my work and the way I do work, and the idea of using some non-precious materials in the surfaces. This particular piece, I started with embedding cardboard in the underpainting. I just love the texture of cardboard and its strength and its shape and the ridges. And so I just kind of started with that piece and then built up from there. You can see a lot of scribble marks. Those I've used with a number of different mediums. I've used ink and pencil and also painting. Just to give a variation of line quality, which I find very appealing, and it kind of gives the overall impression of something quite playful and spontaneous.
I'm noticing the palette in this as well.
Well, I wanted to feel as if it was a child's exploration, and so I used primary colours for this painting.
That makes sense. Let's take a look at another work.
Sure. So
here we go. I'm loving this one. In contrast, has got a lot of white going on and drawing attention a lot more to the objects themselves.
Yeah. I think when I laid all the materials down this piece, I wanted to unify the surface, and so white is a great unifier, and it really just created a whole new surface on its own, just for the amount of materials there are down there.
Can we see this one in real life?
Yeah, I'll swing my screen around and you can see it in my studio.
Cool. Oh yeah, white on white.
Lovely. Well, I'll just put the screen a little bit. Actually, on my bench here, I'd normally paint, so there's some of my material up here.
Tell me a little bit about how you chose what you put into the painting.
Okay, so you can see I've really indulged myself on this piece. I've put so much into it. I've started off, as you can see, with the base of a dress. It was one of my children's dresses that I built up with wire and wax. So really that was the main piece, and then I found objects from around the house. I was really wanting to focus on the debris of everybody's everyday life, the mundane materials that we find and objects that we find and keep that all have a story. So it's all about connecting memories and everyday objects, and really making it a very relatable piece that people could enjoy exploring and discovering small memories and items that they might connect to.
How do you decide what to put where?
Well, I suppose with this piece, being that the dress was the largest piece, I wanted to position that first. And I often like to have interesting areas in the top right hand corner, and particularly this piece, it fanned out. So I felt as if I wanted it to be opening up to the main body of the work. If you imagine that piece, where else you may position it in four corners of the work, I didn't want to feel as if the work was falling off the bottom of the page as such. So to me, to put it in that top right hand corner made sense, as if everything else was really pulling away from there. And then I sort of positioned a few larger objects and then added to it some of the smaller pieces that gives it the detail.
I can totally see that. Let's take a look at one more.
Mm-hmm.
Bear with me. There it is. I'm noticing in this one similarities to the last two works, but also I was wondering if you could tell us a little bit about the title of this work, and maybe also share this one in real life.
Yeah. So with my titles, I often like to try and find a title that's a little bit unexpected or not too obvious. With this one, we'd been talking about doing this interview, and it made me think about my process and my work and so on. And it really made me think back to the fact that you are always discovering yourself as an artist, and sometimes it's not until you reflect back on your journey that you understand things more. I suppose really with a lot of walks of life, you're just trying to do the best you can at the time, and then you look back at your journey and where you've started and where you are, and you're still just learning and discovering about yourself. So I suppose that's where the undecided part came.
I can see how your process is informing you about yourself, and I think that art making has that potential to reveal things as we're working, and to discover and to grow. And that's one of the exciting things about making art in general.
Yeah, for sure.
I also wanted to just let people know how to find you if they wanted to look at your work further. So they can check you out at annamacrae.com.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to say thank you for taking the time to be with us and tell us a little bit more about you and your work. Thank you, Anna.
Thank you, Deborah. It's been fun. Thank you so much.
All right, dear. Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye.